First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is over here. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, the approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. Mashinsky, second by Mr. Pfaff to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Connick? Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mashinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, the approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Pfaff, second by Mrs. Riddell to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Connick? Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, sewage department head report.
The only thing I had in sewage was a new truck. Councilmember Pfaff got a quote on a Dodge, which was $1,000 higher, so I think it was down to the Chevy and Ford products. And it's kind of a toss-up what I wanted to do there. One's a V8, one's a V6. We're not really going to use the truck for a plow, so I guess I'm going to leave it up to you guys to pick it. I'm kind of leaning towards the GM product.
I'd like to see us look at cost of repairs for the vehicle we have, get some numbers. Have somebody look at it.
I think we should too, right now.
So,
Take Buchanan's or.
the vehicle currently, is it not operable, Dan, correct?
Correct.
So, we just have to have somebody come out on the site, and I don't know who the best.
Jimmy could probably come out.
Yeah.
Makes house calls.
So,
Remember Donnie to come up, wants to get it running.
gotcha. So either Jim Verdine or
Jimmy
Jimmy or Verdine.
Yeah, Verdine can do body work on it.
Okay.
Water.
Okay, water, I gave you some information, Councilmember Pfaff on the water tower, and I believe that's going to be taken care of later. The only other two things I have is the VFD project is supposed to start tomorrow with the high service pumps, and the alert alarm people have told me Friday they will be in to work on the fire and theft system in there. So that's all I had.
I reached out. Thanks, Dan. I reached out to Charlie Ray, so the same information as far as like hospital specs with the water and so forth. He's going to be involved in it. So.
Anything else on water?
No.
Streets.
Mike, I kind of do underwater. On the Main Street warehouse, I got confronted by the Little League the other day because I thought the Little League took it over. And they said it didn't take it over. And it's kind of fallen in, the roof caving in and everything on it. They suggested if the town could take it down, they could use it as a concession stand. The concrete pad there, put the concession stand up there. But they need a way of getting it, taking it down or whatever. So I told Tom about it today and he went and looked at it. I got pictures there if the council would like to see it.
How's the plot?
It's the roof's all caving in on one side of it, and birds have been going in and out of it, trees growing on the top of it.
The block itself looks like it's in fair shape, but the roof is.
Bad.
Wouldn't it be cheaper for them if they wanted to put a roof on it and not have to build a building?
Well, I mean, there's some, you gotta put a whole new top of the roof on it, because it's all the sideboards and everything's all rotted on it, Mike. Darren's had kids down there playing on the roof of it.
I have had to chase some kids off that.
Is there
They
any-
like to climb it and
That well's capped that's in there,
I think, Dan, didn't you say the two wells have been capped?
I couldn't hear you.
The two wells on that, haven't they been capped?
Yes, they've been capped. The only time I've ever been down there was, there was an issue over the electric there. And Bart and I went down and looked at it, and it still had electric going to the building. But we didn't know if it was parks or street department storage or parks or what it was. I haven't been in there to inspect it. I don't know if we have any live water from the system going back that way, but I know the two wells are capped and cemented shut, so there's no water source from that.
There used to be a water line that ran like right down the middle of the baseball field out, but I think
That's what Bart told me at an angle from.
Yeah,
There's a service line there too, you used to have water there for the Little League, actually.
so they're somewhat close to water.
Yeah.
take it down?
They just want me to bring it up, see what you guys decide you wanna do with it. They can't use it like it is.
How tough will it be to knock it down?
Have them take care of it.
I mean, for.
Well, they said there's so much stuff inside of it with the piping and stuff. I don't know what you wanna do with that.
Everything should be abandoned, we should be able to.
I haven't been in it.
Is it electric being used? It does look like there's electric in here.
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be the, it does look like there's electric meter on it.
Didn't the Little League come to the town council and ask permission for that? Wasn't there a discussion of electric at that point, and if they were gonna
I thought
use
the town
they
gave
had
it to 'em,
convert it over?
Actually,
Okay.
but the guy said, he said that they said they couldn't have it because of some kind of chemicals in it. That's what he told me Saturday. I don't know.
Well, if kids are getting we need to do something.
I don't think that,
I think at the very, we probably need to secure it, I would say something.
I think years ago, we were fine with them using it and putting our heads together and making it happen somehow, but it never did. For some reason, it didn't.
see what's in it, what we have to cut or anything, and then we can, if it's something that we can take care of, that it can be a slab. Take it down and they can use it as far as I'm concerned.
Who's got keys for it?
Mm-mm.
Do we know who's got anything stored in it or what?
Is it padlocked or has it got a lock on that?
It's been 3 years since I've been looked at it. I didn't know about this till this afternoon.
Check and see if not, if it's got a padlock, cut the lock and put a new lock on it.
Did you say you were in it, Tom?
Huh?
You were in it there?
Yeah, there's that little hatch.
Oh, okay.
Picture that.
You didn't dress in all black and put stuff like that.
I guess key to it.
Show off.
Well, if they're gonna take it down, how are they gonna go about doing that? Is it just gonna?
No,
be
he just said that he'd like to see the town take it down. Otherwise, he said maybe get a community project to take it down. I don't know.
My only concern as always is just, I mean, I wanna know who's gonna be taking it down and probably have them sign some waiver, release, something along those lines. I mean, I don't want 50 volunteers out there and have somebody get injured.
I'll see what the piping is and then we can go from there. on
Okay.
Taking the walls
I'll
down.
meet up with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Streets now.
The only thing I got on the streets is the salt storage building downtown. We got the pad poured. I got a price from Carter Lumber for the structure to put on it. We decided not to go with the concrete blocks because we have to pour footing. It's gonna cost more money, so we're just gonna put a garage on it, structure on it. Got a chip from Carter for $7,898.38. Like I said, we don't exceed that because it's actually gonna probably be cheaper than that, but that's just a high price on it that we will get. And then for the labor to put it up, I got 3 prices. Was one from H&P Construction for $7,500, one from Dilly Construction for $4,500, and Gary Thompson Construction for $44,000. And we got the money out of Lowit and then my new equipment fund.
It should be a bit lower.
This will complete that unless it's
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
and then a little bit will come out of the equipment.
And that we'll be done with it.
Yes, motion. To use, first Gary Thompson for the building.
For 44 and then
44.
not to exceed 78,
Not to-
98, 38.
Right,
Yep, exactly.
on materials.
I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mr. Mashinsky, seconded by Albert to buy the materials not to exceed 78, 98, 38, and contract with Gary Thompson to assemble the structure for 4,400. Any discussion?
To be paid from Lowit and.
From Lower and
Right,
whatever's left over out of
new equipment.
new equipment. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. McConnell?
So this is just like a storage building? like
For
a-
salt.
Okay. Alright, yeah.
We didn't use enough salt this year and we're gonna have
I
to
just
take
wanted to
it
make
or it's
sure
gonna
it all
cost us 3
happens
times
so
as much if we don't take it because of the winter. We don't have no place to put it.
It just happened so quick, I wanted to make sure I understood what was happening.
Yep. Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes,
Albert votes yes. Passes 5-0.
That's all I got.
Not buying any more salt, folks?
What's that?
Not buying any more salt.
We had to buy a little bit to contract that, not much.
Parks.
Okay, so obviously, as you all know, that we were donated $2,000 from Westville Correctional Facility. And I had met with New Toys. They actually put out the playground that we have at Prairie Meadow Park right now. So it just seemed logical that if we were gonna add anything or make an addition or change some panels out, it was just easier to contact him because he's familiar with that playground. So I have some ideas. I shot out to him a lot of other stuff. I said that, you know, we want some ADA things. I thought that maybe even some workout equipment that you do yourself would be really exciting. The issue is that a lot of this stuff, if we're not changing out panels, that's the cheapest thing, and everything else is probably out of that budget. So I don't know if we want to save that 2,000 and then next year if we get another donation, add it on and then build something all at once, or just take the baby steps. Also, Regina had showed me this cool idea for a cemented kind of picnic table where someone in a wheelchair could just roll up and sit. They don't have to be transferred over. And I thought that was a good idea as well. Then maybe I can look into getting that made. And this was just recently, so I didn't have really time to look up how much it would be to like build something like that. It was out of cement. But then I had this gentleman, Chuck, just send me over pictures and prices of some ideas. I know that Bubba had talked about a teeter-totter, a seesaw, and there is one in there for $2,000. So either we can start baby steps, purchase one item, and then kind of build off of that, but I just wanted us to mutually decide what would be a good idea. What kind of are we looking at? Are we looking at wanting to maybe add some workout equipment there? Are we looking to add some musical equipment for the children? Are we looking to add, I just wanted your input pretty much. So you could switch out the paneling. There's a few panels in there that kids can like fake drive a car or play with some marbles or turn these wheels and stuff. And those panels can be switched out. Or, I don't know, there's a kaleidoscope bench for $6.75. There's another cool thing that I saw was, I mean, I don't know what use, I mean, it was an acorn seat. I mean, it's just cute, but other than that, everything is pretty, I mean, there's like an escalator climber, and that's really cool, but that's like $6,545. So that's definitely doesn't fit that, but there is a standing seesaw, and that is $2,000 if we wanted to get that, but I didn't know, I wanted all of your input on what we think we should do.
I think when they approached us, we kind of told them we'd do something for ADA or for kids.
Yeah,
And
so there's a lot of kids options here.
so I think that's something we need to look at going that way. And then I think if we would want to get money from them in the future, we need to get something now so they see that we're.
I know, that's why I feel like a little bit of pressure to spend this money. If it were up to me, I wouldn't. I would wait till we get another donation so we can buy something big, even if it's ADA, but everything here is for the children. So I guess we just mutually have to decide what item for the children do we want to buy. I mean, there's a lot of good, I mean, it's just very, very expensive. So that's why I don't know what the smart.
They got a really neat looking fire truck.
They do, I saw that.
Almost $14,000.
Yeah, a fire truck.
But
And it's
isn't
really
that
cool.
cool?
That is way cool. And then I saw this, I can't make it out on, I can open my email, but see, it's accessible,
Yeah.
and it's for like a child, and they get to like, kind of like, and that's 1,400. Here, I'll circle it, and you can take a look at it. And then all the musical stuff, there is a bench that's a kaleidoscope too, so putting that in there, I mean, it makes music. Yeah, it's just a bench.
You have the 2,000 that WCC gave you. How much do you have in your budget for equipment?
Cause you're gonna need some
Yeah,
mulch out
well,
there,
yeah.
Well, we gotta get concrete for the new equipment we gotta put in yet, so we got 4 pieces of equipment we gotta put in
you
yet.
gotta put in yet.
Yeah, that's why I wanna be frugal.
2372 is at the end of April, and part of the equipment.
And here's that kaleidoscope, the bench. For kids to like sit on
So
and play
that's
on.
the total of 4.
So
4,300 that we got it.
I don't know.
And you haven't done any of the mulch, Bubba?
Well, not much comes out of repair and maintenance. I
Okay.
just gotta get
And
concrete
would
out of
Bubba
that.
would he be installing?
I mean, they do have, they can have someone to install, but I talked to Bubba and he said that he was comfortable. I mean, if it's little stuff, anything else we can talk about and decide. I mean, if I have 4,300 to spend, then I'll definitely spend it, but I was trying to be very frugal at this point. And I definitely wanna make progress with the money that we were donating with. I guess I just wanted us all to mutually decide on what would be the best idea.
This table thing that you circled with it, that'd be a good handicap. For any little.
Yeah, it's like a little seesaw type of deal. It doesn't seem like it's super big, but it definitely seems like it's fun. Obviously they have to have a parent with them to do it. What's this one?
Does that price include shipping?
No.
You know anybody from UPS that could get us a free.
That is
A
great.
concrete,
I loved it. All the time we saw that thing, I loved it. I loved it. Like, this is so cool. I mean, obviously it's not gonna happen, but.
What's your suggestion?
I mean, I definitely like the little children's seesaw, the ADA one. I definitely think the kaleidoscope is really, really cool. I think it'd be a nice little thing even to sit on, to add addition to the park. I mean, if we wanna go ahead and I can get more prices and then at the next meeting have an approval, or we can
Yeah,
approve one of them.
and get shipping.
Yeah.
So we're not going over budget with shipping.
So do we wanna just start with this ADA,
That little table.
spring, it's called an accessible spring platform?
Looks pretty
Yeah, and if we wanna go with that, that's 1,435, and then with whatever shipping is, I'm sure that would be that 2,000.
You know, you're probably gonna hit 2,000.
Yeah.
Depends where they ship it from.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that is neat, and I mean, I told him this is what our focus was, and this is, but I was open to so many more ideas, because, you know, that playground is gonna change, and he said, you know, it's 10 years old, and he's so impressed at how well kept it's been, and it's in really good shape, and he's like, there's so much potential to add and to take out and to add more, and I just see that in the future, just adding slowly, and then the park will be more appealing for children.
It's a nice park.
It is a very nice park. I went up there that morning, I just sat out there, did some paperwork, and it was really, really nice.
It is.
So you'll get the numbers on that then, and
Yeah.
then we go next month.
Yeah, so no motion needs to be made right now, so
No.
just get the pricing and then
Yeah.
next meeting?
We kinda know what we want, what we're
Yeah.
looking at.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you guys for your patience.
Police,
And like
hi, police.
443 total calls per service. We had 194 traffic stops. We served 1 warrant, 10 crash reports, and we had 11 assist other agency calls. And next on the list is 53 West Jefferson. Last year or the last few months, we had luck using the town's nuisance ordinance to get rid of an unsafe structure. And I wanted to approach the town board and see if we could maybe set a long-term goal and each year see if we can accomplish the same thing and get rid of the vacant abandoned homes that we have that are unsafe. 53 West Washington definitely fits the nuisance ordinance that we used recently. The problem that we've been having is that we have no idea who owns it. I have no clue. We've sent notices to them, we get them back in the mail. It's been vacant since I've been here, so it's been several years. The building is open now, so, I mean, their access has been gained. The floors are sagging, the ceilings are falling in, the foundation is the mortar's all coming out of the joints, it's crumbling. So, when it rains, the yard floods, so we have standing water for quite a few days, and it's overgrown. Jefferson, I'm sorry, Jefferson, I misspoke, Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Yeah, you can
without incurring any cost, I mean, I can do a check to see if there's any pending foreclosures or has been any pending foreclosures for that property. Aside from that, I mean, if we're gonna look to take any action against it, we would have to pull title work, which is, you're looking at probably a couple $100 then, likely to be able to do that. To go forward with the process, if we were gonna look to demolish it or anything along those lines, we'd have to give notice to everybody that has a substantial interest of record in it, that would be mortgage holders, anybody, so we would need that title work anyways if we're gonna proceed down that path.
Open burning ordinance 2017-6. Background on this.
This is part of Darren and I's efforts to just update certain ordinances and improve certain ordinances. This month, the two that we selected to sit down and review were open burning and abandoned vehicles. The town has an existing open burning ordinance that in parts just needs to be updated. There have been some changes in the Indiana Administrative Code as it relates to open burning, and this spells that out. Just to make it clear that, I mean, residential small fires are still permitted at individuals' homes, they just have to have them in a container, and there's other requirements in there as well.
It's ordinance 2017-6, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, amending ordinance 94-1 entitled, an ordinance of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, establishing regulations for open burning. I'll read it, unless there's objection, I'll read it by title only. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-6 on the first reading.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ordinance made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Bushinsky to approve ordinance 2017-6 on the first reading. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Ms. McConick?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Bushinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. You guys want to finalize it next month, or do you want to approve it tonight?
Let's go with suspending the rules.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes.
A second motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-6. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Ms. McConick?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Bushinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, the abandoned vehicles ordinance 2017-7.
This is the second ordinance that Darren and I have put together. There is it's Darren, discussed at length, a very detailed process spelled out by state law that spells out how communities such as Westville can deal with abandoned vehicles or parts. So this ordinance basically codifies that process, and that's so we can enforce it at a local level.
Okay, we have ordinance 2017-7, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, establishing regulations for removal, storage, and disposal of abandoned vehicles and parts. I'll read it by title only unless there's someone that wants it read in full.
I would.
Would you? Okay. We will do it for you. Would you like to read it?
Go
Read
ahead.
and review. Okay, whereas Indiana Code 922-1 sets forth procedures for the removal, storage, and disposal of abandoned vehicles and parts within the state of Indiana, whereas Indiana Code 922-131 provides that the fiscal body of a public agency may, by ordinance, establish procedures to remove, store, and dispose of abandoned vehicles and parts, and whereas Town Council of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, finds that abandoned vehicles and parts within the corporate boundaries of the town create a health and safety hazard. Whereas the Town Council is desirous of adopting this ordinance in order to establish regulations and procedures for the removal, storage, and disposal of abandoned vehicles and parts within the corporate boundaries of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana. Now therefore be it ordained by the Town Council of the Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana as follows. 1. Incorporation of recitals. The foregoing recitals or whereas clauses are incorporated by reference into this ordinance as finding of fact. 2. Adoption of Indiana Code 922-1. This ordinance specifically adopts the provision of Indiana Code 922-111 through 922-132. 3. Definitions. For the purpose of this ordinance, the following definitions shall apply unless the context clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. Vehicle. The term vehicle means a device upon or by which a person or property is or may be transported or drawn upon a highway. The term does not include the following. A. A device moved by human power. B, a device that runs only on rails or tracks. C, a wheelchair. Vehicle means a vehicle of a type that must be registered under Indiana Code 919-2 before expiration, or Indiana Code 918-1, other than off-road vehicle or snowmobile under Indiana Code 918-2.5 before expiration, or Indiana Code 918-1.4. See Indiana Code 913-2-196. Abandoned vehicle, the term abandoned vehicle means that the following: A, the vehicle is located on public property illegally. B, a vehicle left on public property without being moved for 24 hours. C, a vehicle located on public property in such a manner as to constitute a hazard or obstruction to the movement or pedestrian or vehicular traffic on public right-of-way. D, a vehicle that has remained on private property without the consent of the owner or person in control of the property for more than 48 hours. E, a vehicle from which the engine, transmission, or differential has been removed or that is otherwise potentially dismantled or inoperable and left on public property. F, a vehicle that has been removed by a towing service or public agency upon request of an officer enforcing a statute or an ordinance if the impounded vehicle is not claimed or redeemed by the owner or the owner's agent within 20 days after the vehicle's removal. G, a vehicle that is at least 3 model years old, is mechanically inoperable, and is left on private property continuously in a location visible from public property for more than 20 days. For purposes of this ordinance, a vehicle covered by a tarpaulin or other plastic, vinyl, rubber, cloth, or textile covering is considered to be visible. H, a vehicle, subletter I, that was repaired or stored at the request of the owner, that has not been claimed by the owner, and for which the reasonable value of the charges associated with the repair or storage remain unpaid for more than 30 days after the date on which the repair work is completed or the vehicle is stored. See Indiana Code 913-2.1. Vehicle otherwise fits the definition of an abandoned vehicle shall be considered an abandoned vehicle if it is: A, vehicle in operable condition specifically adapted or constructed for operation on privately owned raceways. B, a vehicle stored as the property of a member of the Armed Forces of the United States who is on active duty assignment. C, a vehicle located on a vehicle sale lot or at a commercial vehicle servicing or leasing facility. D, a vehicle located upon property license or zone as an automobile scrapyard. E, a vehicle registered and licensed under Indiana Code 918-12 as an antique vehicle. F, a golf cart. G, an off-road vehicle. See Indiana Code 922-1.1. A vehicle shall be considered an abandoned vehicle if it is stored in a garage or other building or within a fenced area which blocks the vehicle from public view. Parts. The term parts refers to all components or a vehicle that is assembled do not constitute a complete vehicle. See Indiana Code 913-2-122. 4, enforcement authority. The Westville Police Department is hereby authorized to enforce the provisions of this ordinance and or the provisions of Indiana Code 922-1.1 through 922-132. For purposes of this ordinance, the preceding authorized persons may hereafter be referred to as officer. See Indiana Code 922-1.2. 5, responsibility and liability of owner of abandoned vehicle or parts. Person who owns an abandoned vehicle or parts is responsible for the abandonment and is liable for all the costs incidental to removal, storage, and disposal of the vehicle or parts. All costs incurred shall constitute a lien against the abandoned vehicle or parts, and the abandoned vehicle or parts shall not be released until all such costs are paid. See Indiana Code 922-1.4, 922-1 through 8. 6, tagging abandoned vehicle or parts. An officer authorized under Section 4 who finds or is notified of a vehicle or parts believed to be abandoned shall attach in a prominent place a notice tag containing the following information. A, the date, time, officer's name, public agency, and address and telephone number to contact for information. B, that the vehicle or parts are considered abandoned. C, that the vehicle or parts will be removed after 72 hours. D, that the person who owns the vehicle or parts will be held responsible for all costs incidental to removal, storage, and disposal of the vehicle or parts. E, that the person who owns the vehicle or parts may avoid costs by removal of vehicle or parts within 72 hours. See Indiana Code 922-1.11. 7, abandoned vehicle report. If an abandoned vehicle or parts tagged under Section 6 is not removed within the 72-hour period, the officer shall prepare a written abandoned vehicle report of the vehicle or parts, including information on the condition, missing parts, and other facts that might substantiate the estimated market value of the vehicle or parts. Photographs shall be taken to describe the condition of the vehicle parts. See Indiana Code 922-1.12. 8, disposal of vehicle or parts. If, in the opinion of the officer, the market value of the abandoned vehicle or parts determined under Section 7 is less than $500, towing service shall be immediately transfer the vehicle or parts to a storage yard. A copy of the abandoned vehicle report and photographs relating to the abandoned vehicle or parts shall be provided to the storage yard. Towing service or storage yard may dispose of an abandoned vehicle not less than 30 days after the date on which a towing service removed the abandoned vehicle. The town shall retain original records and photograph for at least 2 years. If an abandoned vehicle is demolished, a copy of the abandoned vehicle report should be forwarded to the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles by the automobile scrapyard and after the vehicle has been demolished. See Indiana Code 922-113. 9. Towing and storage of vehicle parts. If in the opinion of an officer, the market value of an abandoned vehicle or parts determined under section 7 is at least $500, the officer, before placing a notice tag on the abandoned vehicle or parts, shall make a reasonable effort to ascertain the person who owns the abandoned vehicle or parts, or who may be in control of the vehicle or parts. After 72 hours, the officer shall require the abandoned vehicle or parts to be towed to a storage yard or towing service. See Indiana Code 922-114. 10. Non-liability for loss or damage to vehicle or parts. The town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana shall not be liable for loss or damage to a vehicle or parts occurring during the removal, storage, or disposal of a vehicle or parts under this ordinance. See Indiana Code 922-132. 11. Search by Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles for owner or lien holder. Within 72 hours after removal of or an abandoned vehicle or parts to a storage area under sections 8 or 9, the officer or towing service shall conduct a search of national databases, including a database of vehicle identification numbers, to attempt to obtain the last date of record of the vehicle in order to attempt to ascertain the name and address of the person who owns or holds a lien on the vehicle. Indiana Code 922-119A. The officer or towing service that obtains the name and address of the owner or the lien holder on a vehicle shall, not later than 72 hours after obtaining the name and address, notify the person who owns or holds a lien on the vehicle of the A, name, B, address, C, telephone number. Of the town or towing service. The notice must be made by certified mail or certificate of mailing, or by means of the electronic service approved by the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Section IC 922-119B. 12. Charges allowed for towing and storage. The owner of an abandoned vehicle which is not removed within the 72-hour period is responsible for the towing and storage charge incurred by the town of Westville. Towing charge should be the amount actually incurred by the town of Westville, but not to exceed the sum of $100. The storage charge should be the amount actually incurred by the town of Westville, but not to exceed $1,500. See Indiana Code 922-125. All costs incurred by the town of Westville against the abandoned vehicle or parts must be paid before the abandoned vehicle or parts will be released. See Indiana Code 922-180. The proceeds from the sale of an abandoned vehicle or parts shall be credited against the cost of removal, storage, and disposal of the abandoned vehicle or parts. See Indiana Code 922-126. Should the proceeds of the sale of an abandoned vehicle or parts be insufficient to meet the total cost incurred for the removal, storage, and disposal of the abandoned vehicle or parts, the town of Westville may file a suit in court of competent jurisdiction against the person owning the abandoned vehicle or parts to collect the balance due. 13. Establishing a non-reverting abandoned vehicle fund. Town council hereby authorizes the establishment of an abandoned vehicle fund for the town of Westville. See Indiana Code 922-130. The abandoned vehicle fund shall be used to pay for the cost for removal and storage of an abandoned vehicle or parts not claimed by the person who owns or holds a lien on the vehicle. See Indiana Code 922-125. The costs incurred by the town of Westville administering this ordinance shall be paid from the abandoned vehicle fund. See Indiana Code 922-127C. The town council shall annually appropriate sufficient money to the abandoned vehicle fund to carry out this ordinance. Money remaining in the abandoned vehicle fund at the year end remains in the fund and does not revert to the town's general fund. See Indiana Code 922-127D. 14. Severability. Any portion of this ordinance shall be held invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction. Such decision shall not affect any other portion or provision of this ordinance. 15. Repealer. All ordinances or parts of this ordinance inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent of such inconsistency. It is provided, however, that such repeal shall only be to the extent of such inconsistency, and in all other aspects and respects the ordinances or parts of the ordinances are hereby ratified, reestablished, and confirmed. 16. Effective date. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption and procedures required by law. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-7.
Second.
First reading. First reading. Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Bashinsky to approve ordinance 2017-7 on the first reading. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Ms. McConick? Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-7.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Shinsky to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-7. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Ms. McConic?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Mr. Shinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0.
I have a question. Lori, this is a non-reverting fund, right?
I thought you were gonna ask for a read it again.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Thank you, Mike.
There have been more than just this meeting where Mike has read the whole ordinance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes they're longer than you think.
That's right, and we have made him not do that right here.
One time we had an ordinance where we let the attorney read it and he got all done, and I said, I normally read them, but it was like 3 of these, so it was like a,
That was like my first meeting.
yeah. It was like a, annexation or something like that.
That was your orientation, wasn't it?
This is a dramatic pause here.
Please go to
Okay, finance, we have bank account closures. We have numerous bank accounts with our bank. We only need probably 3 because we take care of the accounts with our internal bookkeeping. And the State Board of Accounts has recommended it several years ago on an audit that we do it. And Lori is double checking to make sure that it's still
So I will be,
kosher.
it's gonna be more streamlined when we accept debits and credit for utility bills.
And we are going to be doing that, right?
As soon as I get this part taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanna be
Talk
merging,
about that.
yeah, I'm gonna merge 2 accounts into one, because when people pay their bill online or in here with a credit, it has to come out of one account. Then we'd have to go transfer from bank account and receipt out to each fund, so try to just the one.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's probably what
Allow people to pay with Visa?
No, it's
I'm working on getting that
That's awesome.
and
Have you
implementing
gotten,
that.
like low rates or something, so we don't get affected too much?
No, the town will not absorb a cost on
Oh,
it.
they won't?
The town won't.
Oh, that's great.
Municipalities, one of the things that they.
Yeah.
The
No, I'm
town,
just
the town
curious.
doesn't absorb a
Well, that would
cost.
be great, because you said that even online people would be able to pay it online too.
Yeah, they'll be a link on
Oh,
our webpage.
yeah. That's awesome.
That's it,
Budget
works like.
coming up in about 2 months,
Yeah,
close again.
yeah, July.
Fire department contacted me about meeting with them for their next year's contract. Is there anyone interested in meeting with them?
You and Jim was there for them, Jim.
Okay.
I'll get some dates from them.
Okay.
I think they just had a new election, they got people.
Yeah, we do have a few new people on the corporation side of it. That was as of January 1st.
Oh, okay. I told Dave when he gets some people with dates, you guys get dates and come to us and we'll find one and we'll get going.
All right.
Okay. Miscellaneous. Personal handbook, comp time, drug testing approval. No, this is a resolution here. That's, I think everybody got
Yeah, copy the updated, yeah.
a copy of that. So,
Those 2 sections
Are there any
approved.
questions? I know that Lori, Mike, and I said for hours. Are there any questions about?
Let me check, 'cause I had taken some notes. But I don't think it was just big.
Yeah, these are mine. Yeah, those are the same ones.
I took screenshots, I was reading it on my phone, but I think it's all pretty self-explanatory, so no,
we're good,
we're
okay.
good.
We're gonna shoot to have the rest of the employee handbook, because we've kind of been doing it in a piecemeal fashion. We're gonna shoot to have the rest of it before you at your June meeting for approval.
So that looked good, so we incorporate what we got. He's got any updates? Okay.
Shoot
So
gives
do
me
you
some
need to
wiggle
approve?
room in there.
Do you need to approve that, or is that okay? If you need to approve that, like,
you're
I
gonna,
need these two. So
Yeah,
I can
we're gonna
move forward.
implement these should be done in a form of a
I need
motion.
these two done so I can move forward with.
I'll make a motion that we improve the personnel handbook, the comp time section, and the drug testing approval section prior to the approval of the rest of it.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve the comp time, drug testing sections of the new personnel handbook. Take effect immediately. Any discussion?
One question, Lori, this is not, the comp time that we're addressing is not gonna be including and addressing the flex scheduling, right? No. Okay.
This is just what we discussed.
Okay, great.
Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Connick? Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Waschinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Okay, we have the resolution for comprehensive plan. Tom, this has been your, employee handbook
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. So basically, since January, well, even before then, probably a year before then, the planning commission took on with Regina and going through our previous comprehensive plan that was done around 10 years ago. We went through all the sections, and then Ethan was able to reach out. We got pricing on different firms doing the comprehensive plan. It was around $30,000 to $40,000. So then we were able to get from the state. They have their class, do it for their class project. Which over the last couple months, these students, and along with their professor, who is a consultant himself, have been coming out here to do public forums and then help us gather information for them to pull together this comprehensive plan. It ended up around 128 pages. It's a working document. It's not going to go on the shelf. Our goal is, as the planning commission, is to form committees for the different areas in this to get the low-hanging fruit and to keep this out in front of the town. And it was a real neat process to see where we were at as a town and to pull statistics without the correctional facility in there. We can see it with and without the correctional facility on how we are as a town. A lot of times when you pull data for Westville, that's not the case. You can't. It's either it has the correctional facility in there or it doesn't. And a lot of times that skews our information. So this is good for anybody wanting to move a business here, a resident wanting to move here, to see where the town is at and what our goals and aspirations are, along with strengths and weaknesses. So with that, I think from the planning commission, we had a favorable recommendation to implement this update to the comprehensive plan.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2017-4 to adopt the new comprehensive plan.
I'll second
Well, after all that work and not second.
that.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to adopt ordinance 2017, or resolution 2017-4, which is to adopt the comprehensive plan. Is there any discussion?
I just want to bring, there's a lot of people, I would say, there's a lot of people in the town that did this, a lot of feedback. I would say that this was a lot of the people in the town getting together, the United Methodist Church. A lot of residents took leadership roles in this and getting this information, stepping up, getting the schools involved. Appreciate a lot of people that put this into a lot of work into this act.
Can it be made available, Tom, in like a PDF format?
Yes, I think this would be excellent to put on our website. It's around 30 megs. We should be able to do it. And then there's also the final presentation. I think would be helpful with a lot of the charts and presentation materials as well.
Any other comments, discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Connick?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Waschinsky?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Anything under miscellaneous? Citizens' comments? Yes?
I'm Brian Lenoir, I live in 100 Allen. It's been 3 months since I came in and spoke up. I'd just like to make a few comments about your drive for public safety. I'm just in question how we're coming along with that street light at Allen John and Commercial.
Have you heard anything, the street light, the
Yeah.
white light, have we heard anything back from them still?
I have not yet, I don't know what's going on.
It's been 3 months, just kind of curious. A couple other things I'd like to talk about is, part of my questions on your parking ordinance 2017-1. The things I'm seeing as a resident is a lot of the blocked sidewalks. I do see you have a 2015-1 that prohibits that. And my concern and what I'm seeing is a lot of kids walking in the street. Kind of what really brings it to heart is, I'll give you an example. Sunday, not in this town, but I seen a kid, a 15-year-old, get hit by a car. I don't want to see that in our neighborhood. It was bad. I don't know what we can do to smooth it. I mean, it's happening everywhere throughout Water Tower and other areas of this community. I mean, it's a law, state law, federal law, Americans with Disabilities Act. I think we should really, as a community, strive to open those sidewalks. I hate to see a kid or anybody else get hit.
Right.
Are you talking about the sidewalks where they crossed over the driveway? Is that what you're?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is a violation. With that being said, also, living in Allen John, now that the streets are open, the speeds, I think many of us here complain again. If there's gonna be no patrol, I was told by one of the deputies that they normally patrol the schools, because that's where kids are. They're also in our neighborhood. He also stated the fact that you patrol that because he'll be seen. Well, that's kind of the point, I thought. I would like to see a resolution of perhaps putting a stop sign at Chandler and Allen John. You know, it's such a dangerous S-curve there. I mean, backing out of our driveway, slow the traffic down. I don't want to be that neighbor yelling at people speeding by. Obviously, we're the throat of that subdivision where everybody comes together.
Because the next stop sign is down at the four-way.
Down by his place. And
Independence.
you can hear him taking off from his stop sign, I can hear him taking off from
Something to look into.
I mean, I think it'd be great.
I spend quite a bit of time in Water Tower every day. I don't know what officer you were talking to that would say that they don't patrol Allen John because they would be seen. That doesn't make any sense.
Deputy,
He may say that it's difficult to patrol Allen John because it's wide open, but I don't think that he would say
that
that
could have been
he
his-
doesn't.
yeah. I agree that.
We do spend a lot of time at the school because we get a lot of problems with kids after school, doing burnouts out of the parking lot and stuff. We try to settle them down coming out of school. I have run radar probably hundreds of times on Allen John, and actually the last vehicle I got that was speeding significantly was the cafe bike that he lives farther back. Other than that, most of the people I get are between 27 and 31. The speed limit's 20, so that's usually what I get. That's the high speeds are between 27 and 31. And this whole parking ordinance came to light. This was my baby. I'm the one that brought it to the fire chief. It came to light. The whole story, Reader's Digest version, was I responded to an unresponsive person on Carla Ann. And as I was waiting for medics to get there, the ambulance came down Carla Ann, and we had the two cars parked side by side. So the ambulance slowed down and then creeped through the two cars to get to the medical call. And when you're going to a medical call or a fire or something like that, you're talking about seconds. And when you're talking about seconds, I thought it was something that was important that we needed to address as far as shifting traffic so that we can get the emergency vehicles through. And that's why I asked the fire chief to come in tonight, because I had approached him and asked him if they had trouble with their vehicles. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add about your equipment and stuff that you need to use.
The only thing I have to say about that is, it is, especially when there was cars on both sides, very tight. Our fire trucks are at least 8 feet wide, so, and if those are only 24-foot wide streets, and each car parked on the side, you can barely squeeze through. And then it kinda comes to light too, if we had cars on both sides, if the kids, what do they do when they hear a fire truck or sirens, they run out. So if those cars are parked on both sides, somebody darting out, obviously there's lots of young kids living in the subdivision. I think this all boils back when the subdivision was built. It should have been designated one side or the other in the first place. I think it was supposed to be at least 30 feet or more to allow parking on both sides. And right now, if you did have two vehicles passing each other, you can't do it with both vehicles on both sides. So that's why we kind of went along with, yes, put parking on one side or the other. Now, the rest of that, you know, not allowing vehicles on both sides on certain roads, that was something that was, kind of made sense, but our recommendation was definitely no parking on both sides of the road at the same time.
So we'll, I didn't mean to interrupt you, to say something. So we'll keep an eye, or look at the cars parked over the cars in the driveway over the sidewalk, and then speed.
You know, if you guys implement a stop sign, it may help further down the road.
I think the stop sign at Allen John and Chandler is gonna bring back to the same problem we had with the morning traffic, where you have the people trying to turn off of 421 into the subdivision, and you have that congestion there with Casey's and all that traffic.
What
The
about
whole,
the next
Can I
block
yeah,
down?
the whole point of opening up that S curve
Sure.
is so that we can keep that traffic going without the backup, and it's working.
Can I suggest maybe putting a yield sign before the entrance to Casey's, so cars back off and let the free flow come into Casey's, because that's the huge bottleneck there.
Yeah, it's,
Traffic trying to get into Casey's is the
yeah, it's
problem.
that's
Well,
it's
if you have a-
you're right.
Coming out of the subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get people that turn in off the highway, that they're in the coffee fix,
Sure.
and they make that turn in and just cut
Sure.
into.
Yeah.
Or they make the turn and then they can't turn into Casey's because there's no
This is-
place to park.
Yeah.
So they sit there.
Yeah.
It's
And then
altogether poor
you
design.
Yeah.
And Casey's remarked their parking.
I don't like
Lots
speed bumps,
of
but
weeks
I mean, we'll have speed bumps in that area. That
Yeah,
will slow people down.
I'd say speed bumps might be a good idea. No, I mean,
I
it was,
don't think, I don't like speed bumps on a public street area.
It helps slow you down, because
It could be, they've improved some, or, I mean, it's more of a plowing issue than it is a liability issue.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, just what you want, some speed bumps, huh?
This young lady here, yes, ma'am. Sure.
Is there any way possible, I mean, you know where I live,
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, just have parking on one side of the street, so you can't park in the grass. If I have people over, there's nowhere to park but the driveway or in front of your house, and I don't want people to park in front of your house. I mean, truly, honestly, unless I call to get a petition to have people over to come visit me, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no parking by my house at all.
Well, to add to that, I live in a cul-de-sac. I can't have anybody come to my house and visit because there's nowhere to park. Because you can't park in front of my house in the cul-de-sac in the same subdivision.
This is,
I
want
just
one
think
side
that's
or the other side.
extreme.
One side or the other side. Can we just have one side of the street to park? That's all I'm asking. Just one side.
Where's your house at, ma'am?
I live with him.
Oh, okay.
Why
mean, it's-
I didn't know you,
just have
I know
one-
where you live.
Yeah, one side of the street. I
But
mean, my daughter's got
that's where
friends.
it's,
I mean,
I understand what you're saying.
you can't park in the grass, cause you get ticked for that. You can't park anywhere. I would have never moved here if I'd known all these situations here. And where I work at a bank, and I tell the people about all the situations in this neighborhood, and it's ridiculous.
Right. But when
It's
when that subdivision was built, if you had an HOA, you would be parking on one side of the street.
One side's great.
Because it wasn't, but with that S curve there, that's the kicker.
It's not a big S curve. I just wish we could just have one side or the other side. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I even asked if we could apply for a special permit. Say, I wanted to have a birthday party or something. Can I apply for a permit to town council, for a special day? And maybe the cars get a special tag or something, so if you apply for something, then I just think that there's maybe it shouldn't have to be all black and white. There should be some, like Halloween is a fun time for our neighborhood, but it's not gonna be fun this year.
As long as they park all on the same side of the street.
But
Park on
not there's on certain sections.
Park
If I live in a cul-de-sac, people should be able to park in front of my house. You can't have a garage sale because nobody can park. Maybe there's a way to apply for a permit for special occasions, for special events.
It seems like this is a small community, can we come together?
Yeah, but the minute we need to get a fire truck down.
I get
You
it.
give a permit for a special event, and then we have an emergency, and we have an issue then, and then what do we do? So, I mean, I understand completely what you're saying, and I'm trying to sit here and think of a good solution, and
I appreciate that.
I mean, we're not bad people and don't want you to park in front of your house.
But
That's
I
not,
can't.
But if there's a
That's-
holiday with 3 neighbors trying to park on a corner, who's gonna lose? Who's walking the furthest to somebody's house?
Yeah, I mean,
It seems like,
we'd have to pay somebody to bus people in to have a party. I mean, it's just,
it seems like if you
For
open the cul-de-sacs,
Christmas.
that would create extra parking for the people that are gonna be blocking, that are blocking the sidewalks. I mean, I've got I hate this, having to defend everybody. It's like, you know, everybody violates. You can't walk up one street, come down and not hit a car on the sidewalk. So, let's all work together.
get them off the sidewalks.
but our driveway, because we're on a cul-de-sac, is kind of angled, so, and we both have trucks. We're blocking the sidewalk. If we can't park, you know, when we park in our driveway, we block the sidewalk.
Everybody in that subdivision is gonna get a ticket.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a ticket every day.
But you can't pull cars in garages. Now, some of them, I'll admit, I've seen some garages there. And getting lawnmower in the garages. And some of them would be difficult.
We have a 3-car garage, and I mean, I fight with her about parking 3 cars in it. And, you know, I could see where 3 cars would be tight with the lawnmower and all the, we don't have a basement. All this storage in the center of the garage is packed. You get kids getting out, swinging doors open, I mean, just wish we could work together.
We'll look and see what we can do. Our major issue is the safety, and
I
I don't
agree.
think anybody here is
100%.
arguing that, I know you're not arguing.
Is
You
there,
know.
is there an option of, developers that do this kind of stuff, that would somebody could take a look, I don't know, through the town side or through their, you know, the homeowner side, to look at, see what, when they design things, you know, what their established rules are for parking and stuff like that. I'm not sure, I don't get that detailed into that kind of stuff, but.
Yeah, I don't know how they came up, well, I do know probably why they have narrower streets there, because as many streets as you have, if you save 4 foot on each street, or 5 foot, by the time you get down the streets, that's quite a bit of frontage, or
An extra
you're making
road,
lots.
Right.
an extra house.
So because they say 4 feet, the homeowners have to suffer.
Well, the initial HOA that I brought to the town board when the subdivision was put together had no parking on the streets at all. And that's where the 24-foot street came from. And then the HOA fell apart, and
Well, they probably also violated that sidewalk law.
then you have,
And they had
and
to
you
do
got
something.
nothing. So we're dealing with a bad situation all the way around, trying to make the best of it. So.
I agree.
How's that comprehensive plan looking? Wider streets?
I mean, can the county help step in? You've got all these multifamily incomes and all these small lots. Somebody's gotta be reaping the benefits from all these tax dollars.
Well, actually, the tax dollars the county won't get that much. And the county will not get more tax money because of that. They're getting the same amount, but everybody's piece of the pie gets smaller. They're still getting the same amount, unless you're maxed out on your taxes. That's more likely if you have a rural house that's over assessed. So, okay,
I got one last thing.
sure,
You know, we have the retention pond there.
right.
We've had a windy spring. You know, a lot of garbage is getting blown, and I'm noticing a lot of garbage cans are positioned in view of everybody's site 7 days a week. Is there a way to amend something where they're either secured, hidden? I mean, I pick garbage cans out of our pond. I don't mind picking up garbage, I'll do whatever it takes to keep it clean. But if we can help prevent the problem.
I don't have it memorized, and it's something that Ethan and I will probably definitely look at in the next few months. I know that we have an ordinance, and I don't know if it's under the nuisance ordinance or one of the other ones, as far as garbage cans and the maintenance and how you're allowed to keep your trash and when you're allowed to put it out and stuff.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't have it memerized.
I know
Um,
that your
it's-
nuisance really.
It's definitely something that will probably be updated here in the next few months, at least certainly this year, as Ethan and I go through each month.
Mine will be going back on the other side of the fence, because in the wintertime, you can't get it through the gate.
I mean, we try to keep it clean in front of our house, you know, try to keep an image like everybody else does.
And that is part of, that's actually part of the comprehensive plan that they voted on tonight is, and part of the ordinances that we've been working on is the beautification of
Nice.
Westville is actually a large portion of the comprehensive plan. So that's where some of this stuff comes in, and if you notice when Mike read the ordinance, Ethan is putting all the ordinance together in accordance with state statute, so we're kinda covering all our bases.
Anything else? I didn't see any pitchforks or torches tonight, so. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one other thing.
No, we're out of time.
Don't want to take a second, I promise. We have a euchre tournament that is being held May 20th. This will benefit, it's a benefit for all of the seniors graduating Westville High School. We posted it on Facebook, but if anybody wants, to let me know directly if they'd like to attend. We'll take couples, or we're trying to find other people that will join someone if there's just one person that can play or wants to play. So it's at the American Legion Post 21 on 421 in Westville. Again, it's a benefit to help so that the graduating seniors of Westville High School don't have to pay for their own dinner and dance that night when they graduate, before the graduation.
We probably won't let you play euchre.
Okay, I will.
Fair for everybody. How many people here play euchre? Nobody does. I know one guy does back there. That's an Indiana thing, is why I asked.
Actually, like Midwest.
Yes,
I have a question. I may be in the wrong place, wrong time, something, but I was curious as to the Westville Park, was the one on Clear Lake. Is there a current status on that? I had heard that it was going to get donated to Purdue, but that's the last I've heard.
It is in process with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources.
It is in process to be donated to them?
Yes.
Okay. I think a lot of people here are here for information on that.
The DNR will be probably taking over that property.
And
They
how
are
did-
taking over that property, the DNR? They're violating every law of the Department of Natural Resources. That, I have a court order. And actually, the legal lake level was established in court. And the papers are here. And they did not maintain it. And that lake level is so unhealthy for the environment, the water and the land and the people surrounding that. And I would like to see, this is so wrong.
That the DNR is gonna come in?
Pardon me?
You're objecting that the DNR is going to come in? If anybody can make a correction, it'll probably be the DNR.
What is the DNR's plans for this?
You're gonna construct a public access facility?
Public access facility for the whole lake?
No.
For the whole lake?
Well, no, just on the parcel of land
Are
that
you
was
talking
donated
about
to
like a
them.
swimming pool
No.
kind of thing?
I'm talking about a boat launch.
What I'm trying to
With
say
mushroom
is they're
facilities.
violating every law that was made in court.
Well, you'll have to take that up with the DNR, ma'am.
Yeah. But actually, Westville would be responsible for the same thing, because you're allowing the DNR to take over that land.
That
And
is,
part of that would be on your responsibility.
well, you'll have to get a court and.
Oh, God, yes, I'm an old
Okay.
lady, but I know what my laws are.
Well, we have it researched
Well,
too. We'll
that's
see
one of the
who's right.
questions that
Yes.
people have, is who is going to be liable? I live across the street from the public beach.
Mhm.
There are always accidents there, and people know that from the police and the fire department, all right? People are going to be parking where?
There's a parking lot there.
They're right, when it's filled, where are they gonna be parking? We
Well,
don't
I
have,
suppose the same
we
place
don't
that
have
people that live on the
anybody
lake park
giving
when they run out of
tickets
parking
there
spot.
for speeding. We have trucks going in the middle of the road and people pulling off
Ma'am.
and crashing into trees.
Ma'am,
This is
that
okay.
lake 30 years or 40 years ago had a beach on one side that people came from all over to swim. The town had it open and there wasn't any catastrophes out there because of it. We could have opened that lake
That's
up
a
at
lie.
any-
Wait a minute,
That is
No, it's not a lie.
my aunt
Yes,
owned
it
the
is.
property on
One
the other
man
side
died
of the
on
lake.
that lake.
Okay.
He was drunk.
Well,
And you're saying
you mean
it's
nobody
so wrong.
drinks, right now nobody drinks and can go out there, any of the property owners?
Pardon me?
I said,
The,
property
no,
owner
it
could
was
go out.
Westville, when he went into that lake, and he actually.
well, ma'am, get your lawyer and contact the DNR. That's the
Uh-huh.
only thing I can tell you because it's theirs.
Yeah.
So you are.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean will probably be donated?
No, it doesn't
It's
mean
in the
it will.
process.
Yeah, it's been approved, all of the signed documents have been sent, including the deed, have been sent to the DNR for their signature.
They're
So it'll
waiting
happen.
for them to close it.
So was that-
And being as homeowners, there's nothing we can do about that?
We own the property just as you own yours.
And
My understanding is the DNR does have its own processes when it comes to creating new public access facilities, and I would assume that they will follow those as it relates to this. So, you may wanna check with them as, in terms of where that process is.
decision made to give it to the DNR?
Because we chose to give it to the DNR. We own the property and hadn't been able to do anything with it. And it was a chance to get it. We offered Purdue to have it, to use it for study. They didn't keep an interest in it. DNR was interested in it and took it over. It's probably gonna give you better lake management than you ever had. If you've got somebody's septic system leaking into that lake, it'll be taken care of.
So you're saying if they take
And
over
there
the
you're
property,
letting,
now
wait,
they're
just
gonna.
let me say something else.
Yes.
There you're letting fishermen go out there with the environment there, so unhealthy.
We could have opened it up and they could have been fishing there the last 30 years, ma'am. Mickey Swit rented boats there for years. You're making it sound like nobody's ever been on that lake before.
No, it's what
Okay.
you're responsible
We
for.
we have discussed the issue. It belongs to the DNR. As soon as the paperwork is done, was the town of Westville's property. We had a right to do what we wanted to do with it, and we gave it to the DNR that's gonna help the most people. If you folks have an issue with it, contact the DNR.
And I hope they maintain, because
That's the DNR, ma'am.
the
discussion
legal
is
lake
over.
level is so high, and if you look at the dock,
I-
all over, it's,
Ma'am, we don't jiggle the handle to keep the water out of the lake. We have nothing to do with the lake level. I'll make a
but
motion
you know
that we adjourn
what,
the
you're
meeting.
part of the, you're part of
Motion
the.
made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, there being none, meeting adjourns at 8:06.